Have you ever felt that everything you've been told about life is nothing more than an elaborate fabrication? What if I told you that your entire existence has been built upon a lie, a meticulously engineered illusion meant to keep you confined? This isn't the stuff of wild conspiracy theories. It's a reality that the great sages have recognized for millennia, although this truth has been hidden from most. Ancient wisdom, whether expressed by the Hindus as Maya, the veil obscuring true reality, or depicted in Plato's famous allegory of the cave, has always been there. In Plato's account, prisoners have been shackled since birth, forced to gaze only at the shadows cast on a wall, and have come to believe that those shadows are all there is. Imagine for a moment, what if you were one of those captives? And more importantly, who truly gains from keeping you imprisoned? The matrix we live in isn't constructed out of wires, circuits, or digital code. It is instead built from ideas and stories that have been instilled in us from a young age. From the moment you set foot in school, you are handed a script. Study hard, excel in your classes, secure a stable job, pay your bills, retire, and eventually fade away. This is the script, and if you deviate from it, if you dare to question or challenge it, you might be dismissed as delusional, irresponsible, or simply an idealistic dreamer. Yet, as you obediently follow this predetermined path, someone else is reaping the benefits. The system thrives on your alienation. It deliberately distracts you, exhausts you, and encourages endless consumption, leaving little room for genuine thought. Every day, social media bombards you with trivialities, while the news feeds you with stories of fear and despair. You spin on this relentless hamster wheel, clinging to the belief that someday, things will change for the better, even though that day never seems to arrive. Now, if you're listening to this message, it means that deep down, you sense something isn't right. You might have already noticed a gnawing emptiness inside, an inner void that no amount of busyness or distraction can fill. You could try to escape your reality by throwing yourself into work, immersing yourself in endless scrolling, or numbing yourself with fleeting pleasures, but nothing seems to fill that gap. That emptiness isn't a mistake, it's a summons. The ancients understood this call, whether it was the Egyptians, the Greeks, shamans, or the wise men from the East. All ancient cultures spoke about the illusory nature of our physical world and the urgent need for awakening. Unfortunately, this ancient wisdom has been stripped from our modern civilization and replaced with a materialistic framework. In our society, only that which can be measured or purchased is deemed to exist. The consequence? Millions of people live their lives on autopilot, accepting the endless hustle as normal. But let me be clear, this isn't normal at all. Now that you've glimpsed the truth, you can no longer ignore it. Stay with me until the end, because I'm about to reveal exactly how the timeless secrets of the great sages can empower you to transform your reality right here, right now. Consider your morning routine. You wake up, grab your phone, and absent-mindedly scroll through your notifications before even leaving your bed. You rush through your morning, barely noticing the heaviness in your chest, as the day unfolds in a blur of repetitive habits and thoughts. Each day feels like a rerun of the one before, an endlessly looping film whose ending you already know. Yet you never question its predictability. You persist, hoping that one day something will finally change. But what if this perpetual cycle isn't accidental? What if it's an intentional design meant to keep you exactly where you are? Our minds are hardwired to detect and repeat patterns. If you've been conditioned to believe that life is a struggle, that money only comes through hardship, or that love inevitably brings pain, those ideas become deeply imprinted in your subconscious. Even if you long for a different existence, there's an almost magnetic pull that drags you back into the familiar, a cycle of pain, scarcity, and frustration. The worst part is that you might not even realize you are entrapped in this self-imposed loop. Every time a memory of past trauma resurfaces, you automatically react with fear, anxiety, resentment, or self-pity. These reactions, so deeply ingrained, play on a loop that your mind replays day in and day out. This is how the narrative of victimhood is born. The world has hurt you. Life has denied you opportunities. People have betrayed your trust. This story becomes a mantra, a silent soundtrack that shapes your very self-image. When you begin to identify solely as a victim, you unwittingly surrender your power, convincing yourself that control over your life lies in the hands of external forces like governments, economic systems, or fate. And as long as you buy into this belief, you remain precisely where the system wants you, to remain docile and obedient. After all, people who see themselves as victims rarely create, question, or challenge. They simply survive. And when millions of people settle for mere survival, entangled in monotonous routines, drowning in fear and despair, the system triumphs. This is the grand illusion of progress. We are taught to work harder, push ourselves further, and chase an ever-moving finish line that promises success but never quite delivers. You work for a better salary, accumulate more possessions, and try to pay off endless debts, all while the finish line keeps retreating into the distance. It's like watching a hamster endlessly run on its wheel, convinced it's making progress when, in reality, it's not moving an inch. Look at your own life. You labor tirelessly to pay bills, engage in fleeting moments of happiness, a weekend getaway, a shiny new purchase, a brief distraction, and then, just as quickly, you're back in the same empty routine. You're busy, yet you're not truly moving forward. This is exactly what the system intends. Imagine for a moment what would happen if you stopped this cycle, if you began questioning the very wheel on which you run. But the system is designed to keep you constantly entertained, distracted by new novelties, and perpetually exhausted. It wants you to believe that the only reality is the one dictated by this endless cycle. Yet, if you manage to see through this deception, to understand that the race is an illusion, then everything begins to crumble. The ancient truth that the wise have guarded is already before you. Thousands of years ago, revered masters attempted to open humanity's eyes. They warned that this relentless race, the illusion of control, and the nagging emptiness inside us were nothing more than a mental game, a game few ever truly understood or were ready to challenge. Think about it. Jesus, Buddha, Socrates, Hermes Trismegistus, they all delivered similar messages, though in their own unique ways and through different cultural lenses. Their core teaching was consistent. The world you see is not the ultimate reality. You are ensnared in an elaborate illusion, yet there is a way out. Jesus proclaimed that the kingdom of heaven lies within you, while Buddha taught that all our suffering stems from our own minds, that attachments, desires, and fears are the invisible chains that bind us to endless misery. But who really listened? Who truly grasped that the key to freedom isn't in altering the external world, but in transforming your perception of it? Socrates, with his relentless questioning, dismantled the certainties held by others, because he understood that true wisdom doesn't come from accumulating knowledge. It comes from unlearning and challenging every assumption you've ever been taught. And Hermes Trismegistus, often regarded as the father of esoteric wisdom, bluntly stated, "As above, so below." In other words, your outer world is a direct mirror of your inner state. Change your inner world, and your outer world must follow suit. Despite the clarity of these timeless lessons, they have either been misunderstood, distorted, or deliberately concealed by those in power. Sacred texts and esoteric teachings were hidden behind layers of dogma and mystery, all designed to keep you compliant. For example, the Gospel of Thomas, one of the oldest texts attributed to Jesus, contains profound statements that were omitted from the canonical Bible. Read between the lines, and you'll see that its message is radically different from the doctrine preached for centuries. It suggests that what lies within you is the true source of salvation. And if you neglect to bring that inner truth to light, it may even be your undoing. Likewise, Hermetic wisdom, such as that found in the Emerald Tablet, speaks of transmutation, not of physical metals, but of the mind. It calls for an alchemical transformation where you convert the dense, conditioned patterns of thought into a purer, more awakened state. Even science, long thought to be at odds with spiritual insights, is beginning to acknowledge these truths. Quantum physics, for instance, has revealed that reality isn't as fixed as it seems. Subatomic particles alter their states based on observation. The famous observer effect demonstrates that reality itself responds to our perception. This isn't just abstract philosophy. It's been confirmed in laboratory experiments. It means that your life, your experiences, and your reality are not governed by external forces, but by the way you choose to perceive them. And once you awaken to this power, you'll realize you are no longer a prisoner. Yet, even after this revelation, there is one critical barrier that keeps most people from fully awakening their minds. When you try to break free from old patterns, a torrent of thoughts will surge in, whispering doubts and fears. This isn't meant for me. It's always been this way. What if I fail? What if everything goes wrong? These voices arise like conditioned reflexes, programmed to keep you in the safety of the known. But here's the secret. You are not your thoughts. The greatest illusion of this mental matrix is convincing you that every thought, every worry, is an intrinsic part of who you are. In reality, your mind is merely a survival tool, a mechanism that has learned to function by repeating the same patterns over and over again, reacting to the past, and projecting anxieties into the future. Because of this conditioned mind, you're constantly stuck in a loop of reliving old pain, repeating past traumas, and fretting over uncertainties that have not yet materialized. You begin to define yourself by these recurring stories, making them an integral part of your identity. But here's the problem. When you identify solely with the role of a victim, you surrender your ability to shape your own destiny. The system thrives on this victim mentality because it means you'll remain passive, waiting for external circumstances, be it the government, the economy, or chance, to determine your fate. I want you to pause for a moment and consider, who is really in control of your life? The illusion of the Matrix wants you to believe that it is external forces that dictate your destiny. But the truth is far more empowering. You are the creator of your own experience. When you see yourself not as a powerless victim, but as an empowered architect of your reality, everything begins to change. You begin to notice opportunities that you once overlooked, and you start co-creating a life that resonates with your deepest desires. This isn't mere luck, it's a shift in frequency. By changing the energy you emit, you attract experiences that mirror that new vibration. However, many people want to change their reality without making the necessary internal transformations. They desire wealth, love, or freedom, yet they continue to operate at the same frequency of scarcity, loneliness, or fear. Life doesn't respond to what you wish for. It responds to what you are. Free will is your most potent tool in this process. You can choose to continue playing the victim, or you can decide to take full responsibility for your life. Once you make that choice, you open the door to the process of true awakening. Now, awakening isn't about fleeing from society or retreating to a remote mountain. It's about recognizing that you were never truly imprisoned. Many confuse awakening with enlightenment, but awakening is merely the first step, the initial recognition that the life you've been living is not the only possibility. When Buddha achieved enlightenment, he wasn't struck by divine lightning. He simply stopped searching for answers in the external world and turned inward. Similarly, Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is not out there in temples or in the doctrines of religious leaders, but inside each one of us. Awakening doesn't mean you suddenly become perfect, or that you'll never face challenges again. It simply means that you begin to see life from a different perspective. You start to understand that your emotions are not your identity, that your mind isn't the whole story, and that the narratives you've been told about who you should be are merely constructs. When you step into the present moment, when you realize that the past is just a memory and the future is nothing but an illusion, you unlock a profound freedom. The present is the only moment that truly exists, and when you fully inhabit it, the suffering, fear, doubt, and anxiety starts to dissolve. Yet, despite this realization, a powerful force still seeks to keep you confined within this mental prison. The habit of constant distraction. Think about your daily routine again. Before you even get out of bed, you're already falling back into autopilot, your phone in hand, mindlessly scrolling, absorbing information without really processing it. You react automatically, repeating the same thoughts and behaviors over and over. This endless cycle is not by accident. It's the result of a system that is meticulously designed to keep you engaged, exhausted, and compliant. To break free from this cycle, you must reprogram your mind. The first step in this journey is to cultivate inner silence. The Matrix thrives on noise, both external and internal. Your social media feeds, constant notifications, and sensational headlines are all intended to hijack your attention. It is only in the quiet, in the spaces between your thoughts, that the truth can be heard. This is why meditation is such a powerful tool, not as some obscure mystical practice, but as a means of disconnecting from the cacophony of modern life and reconnecting with your inner self. Even if you've never meditated before, start with just 5 minutes a day. Simply close your eyes, focus on your breath, and observe the natural flow of thoughts without getting entangled in them. At first, your mind may resist, trying to drag you back into old habits, but over time you will notice a space emerging, a space where true freedom begins. Yet inner silence is only one part of the solution. The next step is digital fasting. In today's world, you are bombarded with information at every turn. Each notification, each flashy headline, and every trivial debate siphons away your energy, reinforcing the very patterns that keep you enslaved. The only way to regain control is to disconnect from these distractions and reconnect with what truly matters, your inner energy and authentic self. Try spending a day without checking social media, or even dedicate an entire weekend to disconnecting. Initially, you might feel a sense of loss, or FOMO, fear of missing out. But soon you'll begin to realize that the real cost was the precious time and energy you spent on empty pursuits. Furthermore, everything you believe about yourself, your thoughts on money, love, success, and happiness, was implanted in you by a system that never intended for you to tap into your true power. Now is the time to rewrite that internal script. Start by using conscious affirmations to reprogram your mind for the reality you wish to create. Write down new truths and repeat them daily with unwavering conviction. I am free. I am prosperous. I am awake. When you say these words with genuine feeling, you signal to your subconscious mind that it is time to rewrite the old story. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. It simply accepts the new frequency that you are vibrating at. When you radiate abundance instead of scarcity, love instead of loneliness, and freedom instead of fear, the universe responds in kind. But there's an even deeper layer to this journey, a step beyond merely reprogramming your beliefs and habits. This is the reconnection with the sacred, the profound realization that you are not a solitary, isolated being, but an integral part of a vast, interconnected whole. The Matrix wants you to believe that only what can be seen, touched, and measured is real. This belief was instilled to keep you from ever exploring the true mystery of existence, the boundless, ineffable nature of the divine that permeates all of creation. Ancient cultures referred to this inner essence by many names. The Greeks spoke of logos, while the East had its own terms for that universal principle, something that transcends any single doctrine, yet is at the heart of every true spiritual tradition. Connecting with the sacred doesn't require elaborate rituals or adherence to a strict belief system. It simply happens when you learn to be fully present, when you notice the warmth of the sun on your skin, the gentle rhythm of your breath, and the subtle beauty of the everyday moments that surround you. In that stillness, you begin to feel the undeniable truth. You were never separated from the divine. The belief that you were alone, isolated by an impenetrable barrier, was nothing more than an illusion. Once you understand this, life takes on an entirely new meaning, and the transformative power of awakening becomes undeniable. Now that you've seen through the illusion and experienced the stirrings of awakening, the critical question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? Awareness without action is meaningless. It's one thing to understand these truths intellectually, but another entirely to apply them to your everyday life. Many people discover these insights and yet choose to remain trapped in their old patterns. They acknowledge that change is possible, yet fear the unknown and the disruption of their familiar routines. But you, having recognized the true nature of your reality, can no longer afford to live as if nothing has changed. As you begin to apply these teachings, you'll notice that your life starts to transform in small, almost imperceptible ways. The same situations that once overwhelmed you now seem insignificant. What once ignited intense emotions now passes by like a soft breeze, when you choose to step out of the victim role and reclaim your power. You begin to see opportunities where once there were obstacles. People around you will notice your change in energy. Doors that seemed permanently closed will begin to open. This isn't magic. It's the natural consequence of shifting your inner vibration. Yet, do not expect a flawless or instant transformation. Awakening does not eradicate challenges, fear, or doubt overnight. Instead, it alters your relationship with them. You come to understand that these feelings do not define you, that they are merely transient phenomena passing through your consciousness. And in this understanding lies the paradox. Everything changes, yet the world itself remains the same. The external environment may still look familiar, but your internal lens has shifted so dramatically that you now see life in a completely different light. As you journey further along this path, you will be confronted with an essential truth. The power to change your reality lies within you. The matrix that once held you captive, a system built on habitual patterns and the perpetual reinforcement of victimhood, begins to crumble when you reclaim your inner authority. In that moment, you understand that you are the observer of your thoughts, not their prisoner. You learn to stand apart from the ceaseless stream of mental chatter and to view your life with fresh, unclouded eyes. But even with this newfound clarity, there's one more challenge to overcome: breaking the invisible chains of conditioning that have kept you confined for so long. Every time you attempt to change, a flood of self-doubt and old habits rushes in. "This isn't for me," your mind whispers. "It's always been this way. What if I fail?" These thoughts are nothing more than echoes of the past, a conditioned response meant to keep you in the safety of what's familiar. The critical insight here is that you are not your thoughts. You are not the sum of your past traumas, your fears, or your doubts. You are the conscious observer behind them, free to choose a new narrative. At this point, you've reached a pivotal moment in your journey. With your eyes open to the truth, you can either continue along the old, familiar path or step into a life where you actively create your reality. The difference between merely surviving and truly living is the ability to harness your free will and reshape your destiny. The ancient teachings, whether from Jesus, Buddha, Socrates, or Hermes Trismegistus, all point to one fundamental truth: the external world is a reflection of your inner state. Change your inner world, and the external will inevitably follow. I want you to imagine what life would be like if you stopped chasing the empty promises of the rat race. Picture a life where your daily actions are no longer dictated by the incessant need to survive, but by a deep, abiding connection with your inner self. This is the essence of true awakening. It's a continuous process, a journey that requires daily commitment and courage. It's about choosing to live with intention, to engage with life in a way that is aligned with your highest truth, and to actively co-create a reality that reflects your deepest desires and values. In practical terms, begin by setting aside moments each day to simply be. Let go of the constant need to be busy, to accumulate, or to distract yourself. Embrace the power of silence, the clarity that comes with stillness, and the realization that every moment is a gateway to transformation. As you do this, you'll start to see that the wisdom of the sages was not some distant relic of the past. It is alive and present in every breath you take. The path ahead is both challenging and rewarding. There will be days when old habits and fears try to pull you back into the familiar cycle. But remember, every moment you choose to remain aware is a victory. Each time you observe your thoughts without judgment, each time you take a moment to reconnect with the present, you chip away at the illusion that has kept you captive for so long. Your journey toward awakening is not about achieving perfection, it's about embracing the process of transformation with all its ups and downs. Before you take the next step, consider this final truth. The awakening process is an invitation to rediscover your inherent power. It is an invitation to break free from the limitations imposed on you by a system that thrives on conformity and distraction. The secret to liberation is not hidden in some external destination, but lies within the simple act of being present. Once you truly understand that you are the architect of your own reality, you will begin to see that nothing is fixed, nothing is inevitable. You hold the reins of your destiny. Now, I invite you to take action, reflect on what you've read here, and ask yourself, what will you do with this newfound understanding? Will you continue to be a passive spectator in a life predetermined by outdated narratives? Or will you seize the opportunity to rewrite your story? The choice is yours. The system may have crafted a script for you long ago, but you always had the power to change the narrative. And now that you've awakened to this truth, you can no longer afford to sleepwalk through life. If you're ready to take your journey even deeper, to learn practical methods to dismantle the illusions of the past, and to harness the true power of your mind, then I have something special waiting for you. I've prepared an exclusive video that delves even further into these concepts, offering actionable steps and real-life examples to help you apply these transformative teachings. This isn't just theory, it's a practical guide for reclaiming your life, one deliberate step at a time. So, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, commit to this path of awakening. Let go of the old scripts that no longer serve you and embrace the limitless potential that lies within. In the stillness of your mind, amidst the silence of your heart, you will find the key to unlocking a reality that reflects your true self. A reality where you are not defined by the past, but empowered by the infinite possibilities of the present. Remember, this journey isn't about escaping the world. It's about engaging with it on your own terms. It's about seeing through the illusions, questioning the established norms, and choosing a path that resonates with your soul. And as you continue this journey, know that every step you take brings you closer to the freedom and fulfillment you deserve. Now, as you close this chapter and prepare to step into a life reimagined, ask yourself, are you ready to leave behind the illusions that have kept you captive? Are you ready to reclaim your power, rewrite your narrative, and live a life that is authentically yours? The answers lie not in the external world, but within you. The moment is now, and the power has always been there, waiting for you to awaken. So, I challenge you. Do not allow the comforts of the familiar to keep you chained any longer. Embrace the wisdom of the ancient masters, harness the power of inner silence, and let go of the digital noise that drowns out your true voice. As you step forward on this path, remember that every moment is an opportunity to create the life you truly desire. A life not defined by the limitations of an illusion, but by the boundless potential of your awakened self. Welcome to the journey of transformation. Welcome to a life where the chains of old conditioning are broken, and the light of your true essence shines through. The Matrix may have tried to keep you confined, but you are now the master of your destiny. The choice is yours, and the time is now. Embrace your awakening and step boldly into a reality crafted by your own vision. A reality where every day is a testament to the power of inner transformation, and every moment is a celebration of the freedom that comes from truly knowing who you are. Now, click the video on your screen to continue this journey. Let's dive deeper into the practical steps that will help you unlock your inner potential and reshape your life. I'll see you on the other side, where the truth awaits.